Vital's B Practice podcast is proudly sponsored by Maxxis, BergTech, and Industry 9.
How did I go from the dude that can never find his headphones to having a microphone?
It's hard to believe. I'm trying to picture you later next year or this year with the same setup in Europe. I don't quite think that's going to happen.
Oh, it's coming because it's coming.
Oh,
He's living there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would be stoked if your setup is just dialed for once.
Yeah.
4 years in, however many years in, if you just showed up and we could hear you,
This
we could
microphone.
see you.
Well, I can't guarantee you that we are going to have service, but this microphone was $50.
Damn.
Sorry
Send me a
about
link. I'll buy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it works for Tanner and I'll send you $50.
We'll be in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I even got one of those filter things, but I can't sit in a normal chair yet to put it on over the mic.
Oh, like little circle mesh thing, like you're in the studio.
It's pretty,
Floats.
it's pretty much like pulp in this bitch.
Straight spitting bars.
We just need the visuals, you know? Even if your mic was off right now, if you're just holding a mic, that's all we need. All righty. We're back. Another B Practice podcast. I don't know if you guys can believe this, but we haven't done this since October after Monson Ann. Where's the time gone? Quickly. It went quickly.
What?
Yeah, I mean, shout out Industry 9, Maxxis, and BergTech. I hope you're still supporting this. We appreciate your support, but your boy kind of fell off. It was a busy end of the year.
Yeah, what happened, dude?
Just life. I don't know.
I
Things
feel
just
that.
get busy.
I feel
You know, I mean, you're given 7 days in a week. You might as well fill them with some stuff. So, yeah, it was busy. It's been good. There's a lot of good drive and motivation for Vital going into this year, and just man, nothing too crazy. But I feel like it was really hectic last year a little bit. Maybe like we were doing pre-show ones, post-show ones. The year kind of ended late. And then it was like into sort of holidays and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we had some weird spacing with the big gap, and then it was like we were cramming them all in for a few weeks, and then it'd be a big gap, and then cram them all in. So
yeah, it's like a weird overload instead of it like a nice steady flow of just keeping people entertained. It was a bit of, I mean, this year is going to be a little bit of the same. So I guess we should get used to it. But yeah, man, I figured we should get on. We should catch up. We haven't touched base too much and chat about team changes for the year. We got like the official Continental Series, Pro Downhill Series. World Cups are finalized. I don't remember if last time if the schedule was even out or not, but I think we had an idea of what it was. So I don't know. We can touch on all that, whatever stands out. But everyone tuning in is going to want to know about you, Dakota, because you're hurt. You had a slam. The moto freaking took you out. Let's start with how the offseason was going and then what ended up happening.
dude. Oh, it's no good. It was good, and now it's no good. This whole thing has been the equivalent of like getting a shinner from a Razor scooter. It's really not what you want. Dude,
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
no, it's exactly. Dude, it was going good. Like I got home from the races, didn't want to see a bicycle for a little bit. It was honestly a little bit emotional, kind of heartbreaking at Mount St. Anne. Just really did a number there, and then I got home and it was like off season. So I was just trying to like get caught up from the year. I'm super fortunate to have like a place where I have this, let's call it a facility. It's more of like a,
I like that.
What are the
Real
dudes
hillbilly
call it?
hideout over there.
Like compounds, training compounds?
yeah, it's like a redneck training compound around here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had a bunch of work to do around the house, get things cleaned up, and just trying to catch up really. From the summer. It's East Tennessee, man. It's rough. Stuff grows crazy here in the summer, and yeah, it was pretty. It feels like it was so long ago. I don't even remember what I did. I did some mods to the moto track. I built Frida a set of dirt jumps, or piled the dirt for the dirt jumps, and kind of bucket packed them with an excavator. I actually did move a lot of dirt again this year. I built my moto track and then learned some things were great, some things weren't great. And the worst part of it is I couldn't mow a lot of stuff. I had some pretty wild slopes. So made a big effort to move a lot of dirt, get some of the slopes down so I can plant like some, I don't know, seasonal grasses on them or something that's like a more of a no-mow. Just learned from this year that I had ragweed everywhere and it was taller than me and it was a mess. So did some of that. I did some additions on my house, and the way my house is built kind of into a hillside is I had to pull a lot of dirt back from around my house. So actually the dirt jumps are like literally just a big drain so that the water can run back, like out before it gets to my house, and started some landscaping, some stuff like that, you know, just normal dude stuff, right? I was trying to make water run away from the house.
Well, some big takeaways from last year, which weeds you do or don't want, how to grade a slope.
Yep. Yeah. Did a lot of that. I rode my dirt bike a little bit, not a ton. I was like just pretty much like went to work. Got all my stuff done, and right as I was getting ready to start kind of training for next year, got all my fall tasks done. I was really stoked at the things I accomplished. Ran power to my garage because I hadn't had racing out of the garage with no power has been rough for like the past 3 years. And as soon as I got like to the point where I was like able to like reap the rewards of all my hard work, I had a bit of a get off, unfortunately, and had to hop the old handlebars and shot my femur through my hip. So not exactly ideal.
So what happened? Where were you? Like how'd you crash? Like did you like a misshift or did you get bumped?
Lockup.
What's that mean?
Let's just call it the yeah. Dude, it's bad. It wasn't good. It's not good. It's literally, I went in circles with this in my career, and as a downhill mountain bike racer, the big fear is getting hurt on your moto, right? And you never want to make that call. And it's not like I'm squirrely, like I'm pretty decent at riding the dirt bike, and I'm by no means like a supercross racer, but I feel like I can ride pretty consistently and ride well. And I do hit a lot of big jumps and am confident in my abilities. I'm not like Johnny's first dirt bike out there getting squirrely, Brandon's first race. But it is the worst fear. But having a bike lock up on the lip of a jump, I mean, it happens. Look at Brandon Hartraff, that dude. His career's over because of it. So it's like it is literally my worst fear. No matter how good you are, you can't. There's nothing you can do. I've had bikes lock up in the air before, like as a kid racing motocross. I've had bikes lock up on landings, like you hold it wide open right before you hit the ground. As soon as you hit the ground, it was and you pull in the clutch. But this was kind of no warning. Just coming up to a triple in my yard. It's a pretty big jump, probably 100 foot, close to, and yeah, it was just come out of the corner was wicked wide open, and as soon as I started going up the jump face, it locked up. And then because the wheel locked up, it just like essentially is like pulling in the clutch and hitting the brake. So it just turns the bike upside down. So I pushed myself off the bike and jumped the bars and got as far as I could over the landing. But I landed like right on the top of the landing, like on the case pad, luckily, or else I'd be honestly a lot more hurt. And kind of rolled out of it pretty good. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm okay. And I felt like I had a big Charlie horse in my hip, and I felt it pop when I landed. I was like, fuck, my hip's dislocated. And I was like, hoping it was just dislocated, hoping no broken femur. And Carson was there. Frida was there. So they were actually both just standing on the landing. And they took my helmet off me, got me rolled on my back, and then I was downhill facing down the landing, and I was like, oh, I can't sit like this. Like, it was so much pain in my hip, and actually Carson like got behind me so I could like sit up against his back until the ambulance got there, and they got my boots off me, and they backboarded me out and took me to the hospital. And little did I know, I just saw like my hip was dislocated or maybe broke my femur. It's like it hurt up in my hip. And as soon as they got there, I couldn't see it because I was the one on the backboard. But as soon as they brought me into the hospital, the nurse there was like, put him in for pelvic fracture. I was like, fuck. And I couldn't see it, but my one leg was like 4 inches shorter than the other because my hip was like dislocated and the ball of my femur was like kind of up in my ass, pretty much, for lack of a better term. Sorry, guys, if you got the kids in the car. But yeah, it was pretty bad. So they did some scans and it was looking pretty grim. And then put it back in to the hip socket, which there really was no socket left. So kind of put it in the region it would live normally, but there was kind of nothing to hold it in. And they remodeled my pelvis and the acetabulum. I don't know. Essentially the posterior wall, so the back wall of my hip socket, and we're pretty confident they could do a good surgery the next day. Gave me the best doctor and we sent it. So it went from like all fall time to broken off worst fear in about 2 minutes.
Man.
Damn, that's a gnarly one. Like, I'm pretty sure like our buddy John Simic, that's what he did racing BMX. Similar thing. He like hit his knee really hard and it shot his femur through his pelvis. Because your femur you didn't break, right?
No, I didn't. I was lucky not to break my femoral head. But you know, there's people get this same injury from the dashboard in cars. If they get in a car accident from the dashboard, it's the exact same injury Nico Mullally had. He landed on his back and it went through, I think, from what I've seen from the video, but we had the same surgeon. The surgeon's really good at UT. And yeah, super unfortunate. It's really shitty. You know, I remember feeling it happen, you know, when I was crashing, and yeah, just not ideal all in all. It's just it's pretty hard to have like, you're like, okay, I got all my crap done. Like, here we go. Like, let's start building. I was like really motivated. And especially after like how last season went, I was like, I'm going to ride in the mud until I can't ride in the mud anymore. And like was pretty stoked on getting going. And then it's like to get the kind of wind pulled out of your sails, like pretty big bummer, a pretty big bummer for sure.
Yeah, that's gnarly. I mean, shit happens, unfortunately, but I guess all said and done, like, you didn't hit your head, it sounds like, which is always a positive. Your back's fine, which is always like a worry, you know?
Yeah, for sure. There's like with this injury, there's a pretty big risk of getting paralyzed. There's a lot of risk of issues with the nerve, like the main sciatic nerve, just because it runs through that region. So I'm pretty lucky on that stuff. And overall, like, you know, the next thing is just like not falling, right? Because if I fall on it and it bends the screws and the plates, I gotta have a hip put in, you know. And it's like I'm 4 weeks now, and I was really good at the 2-week checkup, and I've been really good, moving around well, and haven't had too many sketchy moments. Of course, there's always squirrely moments, but haven't gotten the crushes, but it's been pretty good. And yeah, now I'm just sitting back and waiting. Hopefully at 6 weeks, it'll be a little stronger. And unfortunately, I'm not able to walk until 90 days, so 3 months. So green light at the beginning of March, pretty much as fast as I can get strong is as fast as I can ride again. So yeah, March, I think March 3 to be exact. He told me March 9, but if you start adding up 90 days from when I got hurt, there's a long month in there. So he told me March 9, but I booked the appointment on February 20.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people are they're gonna say like the whole, like, you're riding a moto, you don't race moto, like, why are you doing that? Like, you're putting yourself on unnecessary risk. And then also thinking that, like, oh, like Dak rides like sketchy bikes or something like that. And
yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people have like said a lot of things. Like there's a lot about that. But if you look, you go on my Instagram, I buy a brand new motorcycle every year. I ride it for 40 to 60 hours and sell it and get a brand new motorcycle. I always ride fresh equipment. I don't post dirt bikes online because like I want to be cool and have all these dirt bikes and whatever. I'm riding the highest quality of equipment, and I always buy the best brands. I work with super reputable people. I do most of the work myself just because it's pretty scary to let other people work on your stuff, you know, because especially when you're hitting big jumps and you ride it like a pro sport A level, you know, you're ripping. So yeah, that was a pretty big bummer. And for me, that was like a big point of like, man, you know, you do everything right and it still goes wrong. And it's like nobody expects these things to happen, but at the same time I could have been sitting at the stoplight going to get groceries and got rear-ended and had the same injury. Like it's just a unfortunate circumstance. And yeah, does it feel like a real kick in the nuts when you're like at the top of the sport, you're fighting for wins, you've worked so hard to get there and then have a massive setback? Yeah, it sucks, like for sure. But like the fact that this road is not easy is part of like what makes us, we all of the top athletes in the sport, you get kicked down and you get back up and go for it. It's like Amari didn't race for a year and then showed up and smoked me with incredibly impressive performances at how many rounds last year. So yeah, whatever. What doesn't matter. Like I got a buddy with 200 hours on a YZ250 and the dude rips the thing, and he's never opened the motor. He's put clutches in it and it runs all the time. And I'm like, dude, you're going to die. And he's like, no, dude, it's good. It's Yamaha. And I'm like, but it's just an unfortunate thing. And if you get like set on like, oh yeah, this sucks, what could I do? It's yeah. I mean, you could go in that circle for your whole life trying to say, what could I have done or whatever. But I did everything right. I buy really nice motorcycles. I have the best of equipment. I ride as safely as I can. And the day I stop riding dirt bikes is the day I can't ride dirt bikes anymore. Like, because I physically can't put my leg over one. So it's just what makes me who I am, and it makes the life I want to live. And yeah, so be it.
Still worth it. Shit happens. I mean, you can't control everything, you know.
Nah,
it's so true though. Like all that stuff. It's there's anything this last season podcasting proved as well is your headspace is way better than it ever was. Like you worked on it so much, and like you're probably in a better space than you've ever been to manage an injury. And timing of it, maybe timing's never great, but at least it's in the off season. Like it's better than it could have been.
On that, you know, I did a ton of work with my health and like my inflammation levels and overall just like I was really fatigued and like struggling to like get to race day and be the athlete I wanted to be when it mattered the most. So I got a really big break here. I've been forced to like heal my body, which is honestly a good thing. Like, and also like it really lights the fire of like me as an athlete. Like I was like not really even wanting to ride my trail bike. Like I was pretty like burnt and kind of over it a little bit. So now I'm like pretty fired up to ride, you know? And like when I started looking at the training program and all the hours pedaling, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, come on. Can I just, you know, but so now I'm pretty fired up. All that work I did both on my mental approach and my physical health, like the changes in diet, the, you know, managing my, you know, blood and things I've done are going to help me heal really fast through this injury, which is really cool. So I'm kind of getting to heal my whole body. Like all last year, my wrist was so smoked. Like it would hurt. I was having to limit my like runs and riding I never even crashed and hit my wrist, just literally from riding braking bumps. Like I went to Schladming for 2 weeks, rode the lower track for like a week and a half, rode so much that I couldn't hold on the rest of the season from like smashing my wrists just from hitting that many braking bumps. So, and even my wrist hurt this fall. Like I was like doing stupid stuff. Like I was trying to strip electrical cable and like my wrist was like smoked. And I'm like, dude, I just took a month off riding all bicycles so my wrist would heal. And now I'm stripping electrical cable and my wrist is wrecked. It's just like, so I'm like, dude, what is this? So my whole body will be healed, which is super cool. Like everything gets a chance to heal. I'll get to heal like my fatigue issues and then kind of have a fresh start in a new chapter, which is really cool. Just reaping the benefits of that work that I've done, I did last year. And yeah, just overall contentment. Like would have been easy to get spiraled by this, like, oh, why me or poor me or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, it sucks. It happened. But, you read the internet, the dudes on the internet that are like, oh, it's 5 years and my hip still hurts. I'm like, yeah, but I have a squat rack in the middle of my living room right now, so I can do band exercises and pull-ups. And so I don't have to leave my house to go to the gym. So it's like I'm 4 weeks, I'm non-weight bearing, I can't walk, and I'm working out in my living room. Like move the squat rack move my furniture out of my living room to put a gym in my living room. So it's like, yeah, I mean, don't worry. We're elite. That's why we'll be back and hopefully be back as soon as I can get strong enough to be back and compete at the front.
You're talking about changing your diet up and stuff like that, and now you're recovering for this injury. You want to touch on any of that? Like what you've changed and what you're focusing on to heal right now?
Yeah, dude, for sure. We can talk about it. So the big thing was like, I was really overtrained. So and it's not, when we rephrase this, I wasn't overtrained. I was under rested. I did too much. So like very happy to be in this situation, sitting in this beautiful home that I've built that I don't, because if I was doing this and I was in that camper, bro, heads would be rolling. I would be renting an Airbnb. it would not be good, So super fortunate from that aspect, right? Like, man, I worked really hard and now I have this like really awesome thing to show for it. But I also worked really hard and I was really smoked. So my vitamin D was like really low. I was like, my insulin was, I had a lot of insulin issues. My testosterone was really low. And I think from modern day life, most people's testosterone is really low, but like I wasn't really happy with my body composition. And I was working like really hard to like try to lose weight. And essentially like I was like calorie depleted already. And then I just continued to like train really hard and not eat enough for a long period of time. And like doing a lot of fasted cardio and like these things that are supposed to be good for you, eating eggs, things that you think you're doing a good thing for your body. Like, oh yeah, fasting's great for you. Oh, eat 4 to 6 eggs a day. Well, I'm allergic to eggs. And you don't know what you don't know. I'm like crazy allergic to dairy. I have like a really bad, I've always kind of tried to limit gluten, but I have like a really bad response to gluten. And I was just pretty much like, the inflammation levels in my body were like off the charts. And I was like training super hard and not eating enough. And like even I had a lot of stress for sure. And this is anybody listening to this podcast, I think this can help them. Is stress. Like whether it's financial, whether it's relationship issues, whether it's sitting in a sauna, whether it's training, your body doesn't care what that stress is. And when you start stacking that stress on top of each other, okay, maybe you're not really happy in your relationship and maybe, you're having a hard time like making ends meet and then you get a result you don't want. Like, I'm not saying this is my situation, but these are factors that everyday people deal with, right? And maybe it's one, maybe it's all, but as like a man, like you work crazy hard. You deal with all this stress at the World Cup. You don't get the result you want. And it's 6 a.m. the next day, no rest day. We're going back in the gym. You're puffing your chest out. You're going at it. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do all those extra runs. I'm going to do 100 runs a week. And you just start stacking stress. And your body the effect of, like, for me on my body is like my stomach acid depleted. Like I was eating all this protein. It didn't matter how much protein I ate. I was low on protein because my stomach acid, like my biome in my stomach from A, hitting my head, and B, stress, couldn't break down protein. So I can train all I want. I'm not going to get any stronger, to the point where I just like depleted all my testosterone. Cortisol was high, wasn't eating enough carbs. Oh, cut carbs, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be jacked next season. Dude, I just like literally I'm just like a car with the headlights. You just start leaving the headlights on your car, see how long it lasts. And that's what stress does to your body. It just drains the battery. So it was like a big reality check for me. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded, but I think it's like a thing that a lot of people can learn from, because, you're overworked or, whatever. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. Stacking stress. Like, look at Coach Rob Beams. He does a lot he talks about it so well, of like stacking stress and a lot of coaches. And I think it's like something that should be more talked about. But yeah, for me, it was just, I had to put an end to it, right? So it's trusting the process, eating more, changing my diet, figuring out what was good for me, what wasn't, and overall just making some changes to be a happier, healthier human being. As I think what your question was, like, what did I do?
Yeah. Where did you start that journey? Did you go to like a dietitian? Did you go to just like your normal doctor and get blood work?
I started this journey from a mental approach. I worked with Dr. J. Rich for a little bit. I don't know if he'll if you get any clients, it's a good thing. Sorry if it's not a good thing, but I worked with him and he helped me a ton. And then I like actually started like looking into how I was feeling, right? And the big thing is my chiropractor helped me. So I have this chiropractor that works with me from like a neuro approach. So he's like brain based, and honestly, like without him, John Edwards he's at Cornerstone Chiropractic. He's here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Without him, Frida would never be healed like she is. And a lot of it was looking at what she was dealing with, right? So we put her through like all these doctors to try to find the solution to her head injuries, right? And we started digging into it and understanding like anti-inflammatory diets, and she was like crazy. Like she wasn't even like eating vegetables. Like she was like very like, well, some vegetables, but like not like tomatoes or certain things, like she was crazy on the anti-inflammatory train and ice baths and doing her blood work. But a lot of he helped hook us up with this dude that I've been working with that takes like a functional life approach. So he's like a test not guess guy. He does help me with my mental approach for sure. But he does a lot of the like looks at our lifestyle and what we're doing and positive things, negative things, does the blood work, checks back. We test every few weeks to see if we're getting better and if the changes are making are positive. So it helps with all aspects. But the big thing was leaky gut. That was the biggest thing I was struggling with. Is so many of my friends, and it really actually hurts me deeply to see so many of my friends that don't know any better hit their head and not understand how messed up they are. Like I can like from looking at Frida, like I can look in people's eyes and see if they're okay or not. And it was understanding that my gut blood barrier was leaking, and there's a way you can test for that. And then it was just a big process to try to heal my stomach, because a lot of your brain health is actually directly connected to your stomach. And this is the way I understand it. I am nowhere near a doctor, so like
you're telling me,
but
you're not.
But it's that's where we started, and my chiropractor started adjusting me, and then introduced me to this functional doctor that does neurological approach. So he's does things like Brandon Buchar, like helps adjust your life to have better brain health. So it's helped me with like my anxiety, a system to programming my day. Dude, I don't lose my keys in my wallet anymore. And if everybody knows me, like, dude, I was AirTag guy. Everyone's in the car yelling at me, dude, let's go. And I can't find my money to go to dinner. Like, I'm like, my stuff was gone all the time. You know, I was an absolute mess. So but just like understanding how my brain works and setting up systems to help me remember to be in meetings when I need to be in, because I'll get like, my brain will get disembodied. I won't eat. And then I'll end up just completely like out in the middle of that field, not knowing what's going on, and getting like a better approach to my life, better system, better health, better, whole life functional medicine, which it's been incredible. Like, honestly, it's been absolutely life-changing for me and helping me be a better person and also a more efficient person. Like I said for so many years, oh dude, if I could just like double myself, like if I could clone me, I just need another me, dude. That saying like,
oh, one of you would have killed the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, no doubt. But just making myself more efficient has been awesome, and I get to like deal with it's going to help me through this time, right? And now it's like I get a little break, get a little reset, try to sort the whole deal out. Sorry, I'm a long-winded human being.
That was cool.
What it is. Yeah,
I think you hinted at it enough over last season, maybe even a little bit the year before, that I've had enough people ask me, like, what was he talking about right there? And usually when we're having these combos, sometimes they just flow the way they flow, and neither of us are like, let's ask Dak more about whatever he's talking about. So yeah, it's really fascinating. I mean, it's normal. It's not just because you're an athlete. It's anybody can benefit from getting to know yourself better.
Yeah, and dude, like even like I catch things now, like knowing what I've done and what I've worked on, and and I like, it's been really cool for me to find confidence in what I'm doing, because when like I'm a motocross fan, right? And I know you guys are all here because you're mountain bike fans, right? For sure. When I look at like what I'm doing and how hard I train, and then I look at some of these other guys that are like jacked, and I'm like, I know how hard I work. What are they doing? How do they like look like that, right? And even like, I'm a motocross fan, Cooper Webb. I hear Cooper Webb talk about like his program. He's like, man, I was just like, we had to figure some things out. And I was like, I was eating right. And dude, I was just like chubby. And I'm like, yeah, dude. And you look at that dude and his like grit and his drive. And I'm like he didn't say chubby, but he was like not happy with himself, right? Well, chubby. Big bone, as they say down here in the South. No, it was I was like, oh yep, cool, I know what that dude's doing, and it's like looking at like Kenny and how happy he is and how jacked the dude is and his like stress levels and how he's like, oh yeah, I don't even have a trainer, I just do what I know is right for me. And I'm like, yeah, I get it now. And it's almost pushed me a lot to go in that direction of just like, I'm like I'm so intense. Like I think intense almost to a fault at times with racing. And if you're like, I see something on the program, no matter how fried I am, I'm going to walk my zombie ass in there and do it, and knowing I can't say no, and I'm not good at that. So it was a big understanding of like for me as an athlete of like, yo, I need to make some changes, not only for myself to be the racer I want to be, I need to be happier outside of racing. And that level of like, not fulfillment, but just whole life happiness. Like my love for my craft will increase if I love myself more and love my life outside of racing more. It allows you to get a little more patience in the patience tank when it comes time to do something hard or deal with something difficult.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Makes sense. I mean, you might be a pro mountain bike racer, but at the end of the day, it's still your life day in and day out. Like I feel like at a very small level, I'll get that occasionally when people are like, "Oh, you just test and ride bikes all day," and all I think about is like, if you just saw like all the other shit that's going on all the time. But that's me looking at it as like almost a bit more woe is me, or like the hecticness of all the things to do. But at the end of the day, it's like I do get to do a lot of these cool things. But if I'm not appreciative of it in the moment, I never have the moment to look back and be like, everything's okay. Or like you're saying, when things are tough, you just, it's all I think about life is trying to keep the line very even, because you're going to go above and below a lot of times. But if you can't manage either end of it, like if you live for the high because you can't deal with the low, like you're going to be too out of whack with a lot of those things. And I need to spend some time fucking working on my diet and all the things you're talking about.
Dude,
I think we're all probably in the same boat where like doing the work is never the hard part. Like we're all so motivated, but like, you fucking, the car light is a good analogy, you leave the lights on and eventually you just are like plateau so hard. You're like, what happened though? I'm doing all the things. Like I'm doing what in my mind I need to do to be who and where I want to be.
I think too, like as a person, like you're the most even keel out of all of us. Like you're mellow, Jason. Like you're usually like
well, that's
pretty
like
mellow.
Outward,
Yeah, outward for sure. And everybody has their own things you're dealing with, but like overall character trait, right? And then Tanner is about more like me. Like he's a bit more like hear me out here. He's like a bit more emotional, right? I don't think of Jason as a super emotional person. Like when he is the straight line. Tanner, I think, is more like mountains, to like
peaks and
hills.
Valleys.
And I'm like the Rockies, dude. Like I'm like full on or full off.
You're out in the open ocean.
Overly passionate, overly emotional, right? And that's like something that makes me incredible because I care so much, but at the same time, like it's a blessing and a curse, right? And that's what makes us all special. But it's definitely like that thing of like you want to be this crazy professional athlete and you want to be so strict, but also you want to have like as a like growing up into being an adult now, like all my buddies are drinking non-alcoholic beer, and like
I just had that happen the other night.
We're all growing up, right? So it's like, I want to have like, dude, I want to have 2 beers. You're getting stressed out, and we're like, I'm just gonna go sit at the bar, have a burger, have a couple beers, think about my life, get my stuff on track, and next thing you know, dude, like that is just lighting the fire of like anxiety, dude. For me, like when my gut health wasn't very good, it's like, okay, that inflammation, alcohol, gluten was just like straight to the brain. And then the next morning, my life's like I wake up and I'm tired. I didn't sleep very well because alcohol affects your sleep so much. And then like I'm like brain fog, dude. What am I doing today? Can't find any of my crap. Then I'm pissed. I don't know where my stuff is. And it's just like this. Dude, you're just on the hamster wheel.
Dude, you're explaining me yesterday. I had 2 beers. 2 beers on Monday night. Went and rode. And then I had 2 beers after, hung out, and then got home the next day, yesterday. I was like, dude, I'm like brain fog, like hungover. But like, I'm like, dude, I slept for like 8 hours. Or like slept, and then like all day yesterday, like I rode twice yesterday, and I was like, both times I rode, I was like, dude, I don't know. It seems like the lights are on, like real bright right now, like kind of out of it.
We might just be describing being in your 30s, though.
I mean, I think I do have a mid case of OLD, but like, it's dude,
it's crazy.
It's true though. It's cool to hear like Dak, you as being a pro mountain biker. Like, not that every person in their day-to-day life can't make the time to do the things you've done, but you have maybe not just more time, but like there's more focus on figuring out these things because there's a much more direct payoff in your career, right? But like Tanner, myself, anybody listening, like we're all trying to make a profession, whatever that might be. And even if like the balance of like being good at what your job is and then how that affects your day-to-day life and your home life and then your motivation to do things, like it's also intertwined. And like it sometimes can be hard to like take that first step to try different things, or it is easier to have the beer and the burger, like fucking, and like you should every now and again.
I do.
Totally.
Don't get me wrong, I do. Yo, as soon as this thing's over, you bet your ass I'm going to be at that bar at Aubrey's with a Thunder Road and a ice cold Shiner Bock. But I'm just like, it's just understanding that like, okay, maybe I can do that. Like, but it ain't,
less.
You don't need to have 2 beers 4 nights a week, wake up the next morning feeling wrecked, slam a couple of cups of coffee, maybe a third, just heightened on anxiety water, and just send it out into your intervals and just put yourself in the bathtub with the hairdryer.
Right.
This is
Day
not
in the
me.
life.
And
Where's
do it
this
again
day in the
tomorrow.
And the day sitting on the floor of the shower.
Yeah. How many days have I ended up sitting, dude? And I'm not sure. I'm like a professional athlete. People are like, oh, you got it all together or whatever. But like a lot of the time, I'm like, oh shit, I was supposed to be in that meeting 30 minutes ago, and you're like running around like a crazy person, trying to fix your bike, trying to get all the things done, send the emails, get your deliverables done, and you just end up on the floor of the shower with the shower on, laying on the floor of the shower, like. My life is
Hello,
ending.
darkness, my old friend.
Dude. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, that was a good rant. I like it.
It was pretty good. Well, said we were going to talk about it forever, so at least we talked about it there. There it is.
Yeah.
It's out there.
I like to say at least you hurt yourself in the comfort of your own home.
Dude. Yeah, it's really nice.
Actually. Yeah.
I love the ambulance in my own driveway for me. Well, at least I can't sue me.
That's a good point. I'm like, that's got to be better than for somebody else, right?
Dude, it was the ambulance, the Marlow. I'm not gonna say where I live. The Marlow Fire Department. The fire truck was here. The sheriff and all these people were huffing and puffing, mouth breathing, trying to walk up to the backyard. And I was like, so this is my rescue crew, dude. There was like 8 people there. I'm laying there upside down, like in excruciating pain at this point in time. And they're just like hanging out. Everybody's talking. The fire people are talking. The sheriff barely made it up the hill to me. I told him he could go home. It was okay. He's my neighbor. like there's these 2 EMTs that were going to pick me up by my leg without Frida and Carson, dude. Like I guess we've been in these situations, but literally there was 8 people there. And I'm like, what are we waiting on? Everybody's just hanging out. And I'm like half dead. And they're like, oh, we're waiting on the one wheel thing to come on the fire truck. And I'm like, put me on the backboard and carry me out of here. Like,
yeah. You ever seen that movie Spies Like Us? It's like an old movie and they're all in the doctor room. Just doctor.
I'm just like they couldn't figure out how they were gonna get like the roller wheel thing across the 3 lanes of motocross track to where I was laying, and I'm like, go get a backboard and carry me. It's crazy. And then they only carried me to the thing and then rolled me like. I'm like, oh, dude, this is my rescue crew. You should have just put me in the bed of my pickup truck and drove me to the hospital.
I'm glad we still got you.
Put me on a sheet of plywood and carry me out of here.
You're lucky they didn't just start fucking digging a hole for you out there.
Dude, honestly, if I would have done both hips, I would have just told them to go ahead and push me in the ditch.
Yeah. Put me out the pasture. All right, shifting gears. Your new GoPro edit in their element was really good.
I cried. I'm going to be honest. I'm not talking cry. I like sobbed. I was like, oh, dude, it was so emotional. I thought it was sick for sure. But I was like, this is too much.
You shouldn't have.
Oh, dude.
It was really good. I watched it last night because I realized I hadn't and we were going to do this. And I watch a lot of mountain bike content and I know you pretty well. So it's maybe not like the first thing I'm going to click on usually. Not that I want to support the homies, but like, I'm being honest. Yeah.
I guess you could just call me, you know?
Yeah, it's true. But no, it was really well done. And the conversations in it were sick. I was like, this is the type of mountain bike content I want, you know, like it does require people like yourself. You need the personality, but dude, it was sick. It was really good.
Yeah.
People should go watch it in their element.
Yeah, it was really good. Those videos are good. Nick does a good job with them. And it's pretty cool, like, to have like such a personal, I don't know. I felt like, you know, what made that video so good is he spent so much time, like he was a complete stranger when we started this. And now I would consider us friends. I think. But like, it was cool how he got to know me as a person and then showed me or his interpretation of me, which was like pretty cool. I thought it was really rad.
Yeah. Was that? It was filmed over a few rounds, right?
The whole season. Like he was around the whole season. He wasn't focused on me at every round, but yeah, it was like at 3 rounds.
Yeah, because he did one with like Amari and a few other people, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So sweet. You guys want to chat some team rumors? Changes?
Let's talk some drama.
Well, first of all, is Mondraker going to do a fill-in for you?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
All right. I mean,
I'm sure there was a rider I was chatting with on Instagram today. He's like, "Hey man, I don't want to be sketchy, but I did inquire on that fill-in ride." I was like, rightfully so. I probably would be doing the same thing. It was like a dude that definitely is very deserving, but didn't have a ride set up at this point in time. I was like, brother, if I was in your shoes, I would be. As soon as I seen that, the email would have been getting typed up. Yeah. So, I'm not sure what they're going to do yet.
It could be cool.
It would be. I think it could be really cool, and I don't know what the plan is for it. Whether they'll do one of their juniors or what their plan is, and I don't know. Even like for me, it's like, so when will I be back? I don't know. Like I'm doing everything possible. Like I'm looking at, like I'm out here like trying to rent a freaking hyperbaric chamber. Like I'm doing everything I can to try to be back as soon as possible and recover as quick as possible. But yeah, man, I have no idea like what that looks like. So I would assume that there's not going to be enough time within the first 2 rounds for me to be back. I don't think that's smart if things went ideal. I mean, yeah, I could go there and ride, but like, what for what? You know, we'll go from walking again to riding a World Cup track in a month and a half. Seems a little bit unlikely, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it my best effort, but I don't know. So yeah, we'll see what they do if they do a fill-in ride, or if they just maybe, last year I was in the running and essentially missed a couple rounds. So I was like, I mean, I got 30 points, but you might as well say I wasn't there in a couple spots. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
Guess we'll wait and see. All right. I'm going to start from the top of my notes here. For anybody who hasn't been tuning into our forums.
Drama. There's some drama on there. I might just start pleading the fifth.
All right. We're going to start with confirmed team changes. Even though a few of these in here aren't technically confirmed, I'm just going to say they're confirmed, but Andreas Kolb leaves Atherton for YT. That one's pretty neat. Probably one of the bigger names that's actually made a move, or at least confirmed has made a move so far. Sticking with YT, we got Casper Woolley, moves from their Enduro side to the YT Mob DH side, which is sweet. I think Montanan was his first World Cup, and he was like, I forget what he was. He was in the mix for sure.
In finals.
Yeah, top high teens, low 20s maybe. I don't know what Jack's doing, Jack Moyer. It'd be rad if he came back and did downhill, but he seems pretty enduro focused still at this time. But would love to see the tall guy back out there. Shannon Newkirk from Beyond Racing to Frameworks. Yeah, you would have competition with Bar Right. Anyway, that's probably one of the cooler ones this offseason. Like, they've got quite the dream team they're building. It's rad to see them add a female to the squad. And yeah, I mean, with what Anna had going on with Contra, to kind of go to a similar vibe with Frameworks, US rider, all good stuff. Norco grows substantially. They add Danny Hart, Eris Van Leuven, and Bodie Kuhn. Danny Hart's probably one of the other big names. That's cool to see him land somewhere after GT folding, or not just GT team.
Nuke Proof, GT.
Yeah, he's really just been hopping from sinking stone to sinking stone.
Norco. No.
Yeah, Norco. Yeah, keep an eye on that guy. They're joining Gracie and Lucas Cruz, and they have a new junior, Lena Frenier. Have not heard of her before, but cool to see a new name on a factory team like that. I thought their whole Instagram tease with like the cartoon face shots of everybody, like with Greg walking through the streets or whatever, was kind of neat. I like the teasing. I like when everybody plays into new team launches. And that should be a cool one. I feel like they got a pretty stacked team in a few different categories there. Like Gracie was kind of coming on strong at the end of the year, and Danny obviously is who he is. I think he's still got a lot of motivation, so that's gonna be a cool one. Anything to add on those, or should I just keep ripping?
Keep ripping.
Rippity dippity. Reese Wilson leaves Track Factory Racing after quite a few years, and it's not official, but like he's definitely riding for Gamex. It's been pretty apparent in our forums. That'll be really neat. I don't really know what the program is. If I had to guess, maybe he's running that more. Like he's been around for quite a while. I don't know who else is going to be on that program. So that'll be neat. Going for that 100K with the old belt drive.
Yeah, that'll be I think it'll be a sick program. It sounds like they have money.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and that's what you need.
They have a bit of a runway.
Yeah. Because I haven't paid attention too much, but either is it Gamex that actually makes their money doing other shit, or is it a title sponsor that's like that?
Well, they have like outside money.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh, T-Steps with a hot take.
How outside?
They got
so
dough.
That Lotus money?
What's it?
The guy who's helping with the team is Reese's agent, Paul. So
Paul got money?
As you've seen, he's been able to land some deals.
True.
Reese had a Volvo helmet that was gold at one point. Now he's got a Lotus deal, and he's driving around Scotland in a supercar.
That's pretty neat.
My dog,
he's jumping bikes over him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
he's also gone the way of Dak. He saw how well it worked for Dak, the carpenter thing, the contractor thing. So
did you see that? He's
Reese
out there working on his house.
Straight building a house out there.
I honestly, me and Reese Wilson have never really known each other, but I've been watching him. He's riding dirt bikes. He's working on houses. Now, I don't have a supercar. I don't
yet.
Far from it, buddy. I'm going in a different.
You got
direction.
a super something though. You do have a super something. I know you got something.
Super duty.
Yes. Right.
Ford Ranger is what we talking about. That thing's a super duty, right? I don't know. We'll get into that at some point in time. Yeah, I mean he's getting jiggy, which is honestly pretty sick. He's growing grass. We were growing grass at the same time. MSA prep growing grass. He came back and had grass. I didn't. Pretty interesting.
He's taking a few notes from his American counterpart over there.
I
So
love it.
He's got the stacked up. I
Yeah.
mean, seems like we're maybe not that different.
They're different after all.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. Cube added 2 first-year juniors, so they're one of the few teams kind of like building out their squad as well. Casper Hickman and Rose Zerl. 2 names I have not heard, but cool to have new names coming in. We've got Loris is also leaving Trek Factory Racing. Pretty confident he's going to Common Sol. I don't know if you guys saw Common Sol's little Instagram thing they did where they archived all their posts and put up just a post that was like, our Instagram's been hacked and they wanted money for it and we think we figured it out. And then like the last slide is like, we have big news coming, so like come back to our page soon to check it out. And then in the background is a silhouette of clearly Loris with a mask on. Did you guys see this?
yeah.
I didn't see this.
No, it's the funniest part of it all is there was talk of like if it's real or not. Do they actually get their Instagram hacked, or is this just them trying to do like a team announcement? I'm pretty confident. I'm like, this is definitely a team announcement thing. There's no way they actually got hacked. But Spomer, just because he didn't know for sure, set up 2-step verification for our Vital Instagram. And so I got signed out, and it took me like a week to get back into our Vital Instagram. And then like literally this Monday, I finally got it fixed. And I'm like, why did I even start down this path? Like, why was I out of it? I'm like, freaking Common Sol. They started this for us.
It's probably good for you though. Like think about how bad it could be if someone
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. Yeah, that would be a bummer to lose access to our account. Nobody out there, please don't ever do that.
That would be
So, yeah.
terrible.
It happened to Tyler Bierman actually.
Did it?
Yeah. He has a lot of followers, and yeah, it took him a while. It was like Red Bull had to get involved, I'm pretty sure, to get that thing back for him.
Yeah. Well, we got 2-step now. We're good. Worries are gone.
Yeah.
Loris is definitely riding for Commensal though.
How'd you
All right,
go
moving
about
on.
doing that? I need to do that. Honestly,
You get that two-step going.
I honestly, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Anyways, yeah, you don't need to say what your password is. Yeah, I don't really know it either. It's saved to my computer. All my stuff is saved to my computer. That's the worst. Thomas the Stack parts way with Commensal after like 9 years, which was kind of sad. Like I feel like I just associate him with like one of the sick riders on Commensal, but he is riding for Goodman Santa Cruz, as well as Lisa Boladu is joining that team. She was also like on a small Commensal team, so cool to see them land rides with everything happening next year. Commensal is probably them and Canyon are the brands that had all the teams and they got to consolidate. So cool to see them land on rides. Ellie Holzbosch joins Santa Cruz Syndicate. That's a sweet one. I actually can't remember if they've ever had a junior female on the Syndicate, unless I'm just fully missing somebody.
No.
I think that might be the first time.
Nina was the first woman.
So. Yep. Pretty cool. They got like full spread for the most part. So that's a team that feels like she fits really well too. Like I don't know her at all, but from the little bits I see, like cool personality, sick on a bike, should be second year junior, should be a good year for her, especially with a lot of junior women moving up. So
yeah.
The Jewett brothers leave Pivot for Giant Factory Racing. So that's pretty neat. Kind of a big one. Surprising. I guess, I don't know. Is it surprising to see them stay together, or is that just how you run it when you're brothers?
Well, it split up the brothers. So
did it? What do you mean?
Remy and
the other
brothers.
That's true. Yeah.
So it split them up.
So the other them, what are they doing?
There's Luke Meyer-Smith is still on, but I don't know what Remy Meyer-Smith is.
I feel like he's just surfing.
I'm kind of adding some notes here because I'm looking at the rankings, like the overalls from last year, just seeing who was in it, and kind of adding some notes about people that haven't heard anything about.
Yeah, there's definitely. Well, Remy is still on Giant. He signed another 2-year deal.
Remy Tiron did. He wasn't in the announcement.
I think I'm going to throw this one out there. Remy and Luke Meyer-Smith could not be more difficult or different. Not difficult, different. No, I'm not like trying to say that. That was actually a mistake. Like Remy is like surfer brother, and Luke is like
super serious,
doing breathing exercises, like polar opposites, right? So for sure, them two going together is nice as like the start of their career, and them being like, you know, comfortable in a new environment and having somebody, but they're very different. Where I feel like Dane and Jacob are I got to spend some time with them last year. Jacob, not a big talker, super shy. Dane, a big talker and like talks. Like, you know, he's like cracks jokes and stuff, and they're different, but their like core like personalities are very similar, other than the fact that one's an introvert, one's not. So I see those two staying together more so, which for the record, that was a sick intro video. Like I don't normally watch those kind of things, but because I know those boys, like I clicked on it and I was like, damn, they're ripping. They look like really good in front of the camera.
Yeah,
for what it means.
That video was really well done. For like, it was reminding me of a classic team video from 2012 to 2015.
Yeah,
good era.
Yeah, just it was all about the riding. We don't need the fluff. Like,
I didn't watch it. Did they put helmets and goggles on in the video?
No, unfortunately, they didn't have that aspect. But
did we load bikes into a truck?
No, it was just riding.
It was riding, and they looked sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be biased, but the Giants go okay.
Good bikes, them.
Yeah, you know, not a lot of fluff. Yeah, Remy Meyer-Smith hasn't posted anything. He posted like a peace out Giant and nothing else really about that. But yeah, it'll the Jewett brothers on Giant feels good. I don't know why. Like when they were on Pivot, maybe it just like overshadowed some, or I don't know what it seemed like they got like kind of their, not that they weren't in the limelight or highlighted, but it's definitely like them on Giant now, which is cool.
Mhm.
You know what's way cheaper than that suspension service your bike desperately needs, or less of a hassle than finally replacing those C-frame bearings you said you would swap after last winter? Slapping on some crispy, fresh Maxxis tires. Doesn't matter if you've got a month-old whip that came with some questionable rubber, or you're still rolling around on 26-inch wheels like it's 2013, Maxxis has got you covered. The tires of choice for the world's fastest racers. Whether they're sponsored by Maxxis or not, you can visit your local shop or favorite online retailer to get the same tread patterns and compounds. UK components brand BergTech has long designed and developed components for racers and everyday riders alike. Well known as the cockpit of choice for shredders like Veronique Sandler and Josh Bryceland, they recently picked up the Trek Factory DH Squad and the Yeti Cycles team. So look for Richie Rude, Mick Hanna, Loris Vergier, and Sacha Ernest all racing this season with the signature white and yellow BergTech badge. But I do have to warn you though, as the BergTech website is honestly a euphoric dark trap of mountain bike componentry. It's hard to leave without finding something you didn't know your bike badly needed. Anodized UDH hangers and axles? Yep. Titanium frame bolts? Of course. Offset shock bushings? Add to cart. A true one-stop shop for all the finer details and contact points on your bike. Make sure to check everything out at bergtech-usa.com.
Hot off the press, Industry 9 just launched their new Hydra Grade 300 V2 aluminum wheel set built for downhill racing, bike park smashing, and e-bike ripping. The rim features i9's triple cavity hollow beadwall technology that significantly reduces pinch flats, increases impact resistance, and minimizes beadwall deformation in the event of a harsh impact. Dubbed the strongest aluminum rim Industry 9 has ever created, the Grade 300 V2 wheels are only offered in a 32 spoke count and a 27.5, 29, and mixed wheeled configuration, and retail for $1,430. Check them out if you're looking for some problem-free wheels that can handle a serious beating.
Well, Canyon Pirelli team is no more, so that leaves Dante kind of open for figuring out a team. GT is folded as like a brand, not just teams, so no more GT Factory Racing. That takes me down to rumored team changes. Maureen Cabarrou off of Scott, which is pretty nuts because she's been there for like a really long time, kind of as long as I can remember, and sounds like she's possibly going to Canyon, which would be pretty cool. She was second overall last year, very consistent, bunch of wins to her name, so that'd be a good move for Canyon. Kind of staying on that, Millie Johnson, who's been on Canyon Club the last so many years, she's moving on. I don't know where she's going. I started writing a note here how like her and Magnus Manson are dating, and so maybe there's like a forbidden thing happening there. But then I also don't know because in our forums, people thought it was Commensal. So
yeah.
Dakota's shaking his head looking out the window. He knows too much. Drink your water bottle if it's... Drink your intense water bottle. It's okay. It's okay. I have a pink bike mug. Everything's fine, you know? Fine, you don't have to say anything. We'll keep moving on. FMD no longer supported by Canyon, and sounds like that was sort of a mutual separation of ways. Everybody remember, like, FMD is its own team. Canyon provided them bikes. They're no longer riding Canyon bikes, so that team's continuing. But I've heard a lot of talk about Orbea coming on as a title sponsor, which would be quite interesting because they don't currently have a downhill bike. Mm-hmm. They did all that development last year with their wild e-bike without a motor, which was quite cool. Like, go watch the videos they put out more recently about it. They have like cool little way to put weights on it and crap, and it was pretty neat. But that would be nuts because, like, as a brand, they get a lot with FMD. I mean, just with Tawny and Chaos is like two very separate ends of the mountain bike world. They would be pretty cool to see Orbea in. And then there's also Martin Mays in the mix. I'm kind of curious how that will all play out, like if he's part of FMD or if he's just development for Orbea. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's probably one of the bigger bike brand changes for the year. Let's see, we got Ollie Davis, filled in on Santa Cruz Syndicate last year. Sounds pretty well known / rumored that he's going to go to Trek Factory. Dakota's raising his hand. Can I help you?
Is this the first time anyone has ever left the syndicate?
I mean, Greg left.
I mean, Josh left.
Yeah, Josh he slipped out.
Yeah, but from like podcast stuff I've listened to, he like left when what's the old owner's name?
Not
when he left, but like they had beef.
He was
like, I'm over it.
Faded.
Oh, Luca went and Laura.
And Laura's Berger. Yeah.
So quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was all kind of at the same time era of like Santa Cruz being bought. It's not the same Santa Cruz as it was when Ross got bought.
I mean, it's Santa Cruz Syndicate, but it's a very different Santa Cruz Syndicate.
Yeah, I mean, dude, from what I've heard for a while now, like they're similar to Specialized Gravity, where like sure it's Santa Cruz's main team, but like the money is not coming from Santa Cruz. Like there's an individual or two out there with a lot of money that funds that team. Which I guess not saying I don't know what Specialized's setup is, but it's still Gravity Republic's team that Specialized supports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard he's going to Trek as well as Lockheed, which is pretty sick. Like I like Trek's vibe. They've had a lot of cool riders on the team, and those are two riders that I'm a fan of. And so it's cool to see them keeping that same like really fast riders, but they've got more than just being a racer, it seems.
I have no idea on the rumors of those two, but if
that sounds like a confirmation in the way you said it.
No, I know nothing about that. So if that's 1, 2, so Bodie Kuhn is now in Norco.
Loris
is now has rumored to have left. He did leave.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it.
So there's 3 riders. So who's the third Trek rider? Are they going to keep a 3-rider team? I highly doubt they're going to have two elites.
So they've got Sacha Ernest as first-year elite female, but I still think that leaves open. I think that leaves open a spot for a junior or two, and probably another elite male. What?
I won't say it. Okay.
No,
I'm not going to say it.
Absolutely not.
Why are you saying absolutely not?
I won't say who it is.
Leave that one. Leave that.
It's fun.
Leave that one for the people.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Moving on.
The other two are really known because they went like, dude, I'm pretty sure there was a photo of them in Waterloo, like the day after MSA or 2 days after.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some stuff. People really like to come ride our few SoCal tracks during winter, even though it's still dry as hell. And there's been people floating around Laguna. Leave it like that. Well, this is fun because I don't know who the other person is. I should have given you guys whiteboards. You could have just held up things.
No, it's gonna be fun. Nobody spill it. That'll be a great one.
Both of you know though.
No. This is a I'm in the. I could get kicked out of the circle for things like this.
That's fine.
You can be outside the know.
Wait, Tanner, you're outside the circle. Who do you think it is?
What?
Tanner?
Who do you think's the third person on track?
I will come through this computer screen and I will strangle you.
I see the connection being made here.
Anyways, moving on.
I'm in the know from a different aspect of the know.
Yeah, I have no idea how you would know this. Anyways, moving
people
on.
Leave comments below because I'm trying to think about who else is remaining in this list that doesn't have a team. But I'm like maybe. I mean, Madison Saracen's out. We got Greg Williams and Matt Walker need teams. There's a maybe. There's also some other teams that they could get fed into.
Potentially go to.
I got Ryder Lawrence off of Intense Factory Racing. He has another year as junior, I believe. Maybe he goes to Trek as a junior.
Could be. Could be.
Could be. Probably won't.
Could be.
All righty. Moving down the list more.
I actually have no idea where he's going. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, we're going to get into a little bit of schedule talk to kind of close this out. But somebody like him, I'm like, just race the Pro Monster Downhill Series. Don't try to go to World Cups. which is no dig on his abilities, but like, dude, you're a second year junior. Like that seems fine to me. Anyways, moving on. Heather Wilson. Was it like, what was it, like the Mondraker? I forget the name of the team they have.
Young Guns.
Young
Muck
Guns.
off.
Muck off Young Guns. I think she's going to pivot because, well, she's off that team. She posted that. And then Pivot Factory Racing does not follow very many people, and she is one of them. She's one of like 24 people they follow now. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's where she's heading. Old Hauser. Heezer, Hooser, Hauser, and Frida. Union is done. Easily the saddest thing this offseason.
This is devastating, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even, it's like,
was this one?
I'm still mourning.
Is this one too close to home or like literally in home?
You gotta understand that I was like that like old homeless uncle to the Union for like multiple seasons. Like, I feel like I have been fired.
Yeah, where are you going to stay at World Cups now?
Oh, dude.
Or are you going to stay at Morzine?
I don't know. I'm still trying to piece my program together here. Oh, dude. Frida is currently privateering. It's definitely like not the best time for her with like all of her injuries. Like last year she was like, starting to get back to old form, but still wasn't there. And her body wasn't really ready to take the impacts of those tracks. Like she landed off that road gap and clapped her ankles together at Fort William. And then her shoulder just dislocated in a compression riding down the track at Ludenville. It's just like her body wasn't ready for that level of, not activity, but she wasn't strong enough yet. Like her whole nervous system wasn't strong enough. So, bit of a bummer for her last season because no matter how hard she tries to make it happen, it's just time is the only thing that can really heal her deal. And it's like she's been pretty stoked coming home from rides lately. She's like, I can see what I'm riding over again. I'm like, don't tell me things like that. That's terrifying.
I've been riding these really gnarly tracks.
I can't see anything.
So what does that look like privateering in
2025
in this economy?
As a female, man, it's rough. There's some girls that do really well, but the girls field is hard because there's girls that make a really good living, a really good living, and there's girls that literally are on a factory ride for free that can be on the podium.
Well, I'm just wondering from the logistics side of things.
Oh, okay.
Does she have enough points to go race? I'm assuming.
Yeah, she's a national champion, so she can register herself. So yeah, that's her current plan. She's currently planning on probably pitting with the Norwegian National Federation, and then going to work and making a paycheck and paying to go to the races. I mean, that's it. She's got help from some sponsors. It looks like at this point in time, she's still kind of nailing that down. Who's going to help her from, but yeah, she's going to race. She's going to work and going racing. It's pretty sick, honestly. Like, it is a lot of stress to be on a factory team, and especially like feeling like you have to go do it, even if your body is not in a place to allow you to. Like, it is your job. So she definitely like tried to make it happen, even though she wasn't ready to make it happen. So yeah, it's not good in this economy. It's really bad. And honestly, for her, she's like, with her level of education, she's like, I'm racing World Cups or I ain't racing. Like, either I'm doing it it's not even for her. It's not even I'm trying to get a race to get a paycheck. Like, she could care less. She literally is in it 100% for the challenge and for like, either she's going to try to make it at the highest level on the gnarliest tracks and prove she can do it at the world stage on the big boy tracks, or she's like, she could get way more support, make a much better living racing continentally and be a superstar and be crushing it. And she's like, nah, I'm either doing it or I ain't. So it's, for me, that's cool. She's like, she's definitely selling out. She's core, dude. So I can really respect that. She's like, I'm gonna get back to where I was. Like, I'm not gonna let this defeat me.
So
Yeah.
we stoked to see it. I know it's been a rough few years. It's been tough fall and feeling for her all the time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, most people are just like hung it up, but she just doesn't want to let that define her, which is pretty cool. It's a very cool story, and it's character building for sure. Whether anybody's watching but me, I'm cheering, dude. She's dude, straight up Norton Training Systems and getting jiggy. Making it happen.
You might know where Hauser's going then. You probably don't want to say.
I mean, I think from what I understand, he potentially could still be doing a similar thing. I don't really know. I thought that for some reason for him, like potentially he was supposed to have another year with Trek. So I don't know where that leaves him with the whole union thing or what's going to happen.
And
I would like to see him stay. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I really think I'm going to elaborate more on this just because I really like the union. And I've been very involved with them. I think the thing with Chris Hauser is it was really cool to watch him mature as a human being. Like he came in and he was riding way over his head, won a World Cup, got it done. He was the man. And then he got hurt, and then he didn't have the confidence to ride at that level. And he literally at one point in time, I mean, maybe this is personal, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but he was like, dude, I'm not winning anymore. Nobody cares about me. And he has gone from the top to towards the bottom of that class and then built his way back in like a slow cooker sustainable manner. And now he was crashing at every race and either getting away with it and then started crashing more than he got away with it. Right. And now he's really applied himself, started training a lot harder because he wasn't really working that hard. And then he'd show up to races and get smoked because he wasn't that fit. He just rode. And then he started putting in the work, and I hope he has a really good winter this year. And then comes back in as somebody that's really fast, because I think he can be fast, and I think he's matured a lot, and I would like to see him get more of a chance at that and with support at that level.
Yeah. Yeah, especially he's one of those people too with the timing of things changing with how you can race World Cups, and he's going to a first year elite. Getting on a team this first year feels really important, so you don't kind of get lost in the turbulence of things changing a bit. Like if you can get on a team, have support for that first year, have a solid year, it can help you build for the next 2 or 3.
Yeah,
hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, and at the same time, if it doesn't, I'm sure he'll race some IXS races, race a couple of World Cups because he's a national champion as well. Race a couple of World Cups with his family, and I think he'll do great because, like I said, it's a lot of pressure being on a factory race program. Like it's no matter if like these teams like try to look so professional and they do the semi and the tent and all these people relying on you, and it's like even if no one is pushing the pressure button, there's pressure. And these seats are so rare that, whether he does get still support, I have honestly no idea. I would like to see him still continue on his path, but, because essentially the union was supposed to be like more of like a Trek feeder team from what I understood its place last year. So ideally, I would love to see if they still support him. And if he doesn't, I'm sure he'll be just fine. Like he's a really good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and it's been cool to know him because his English has gotten a lot better, which now he's like really funny. So I just want to see him do good.
Moving on.
Yep.
Right now towards the bottom of these lists here.
Long live the union.
I know. RIP. Which I was like, just as we were talking about all that, I'm like, do we even mention just how like things changing or just shafting a bunch of teams that were like kind of cool, like Transition Factory Racing had to call it after 2 years. The union's out. There was like the Unor team that used to ride for also went under. Like quite a few common salt teams have just been kind of evaporated with everything. And
Fricks.
yeah, I mean Austin Dooley, like there's a lot of names that it's just, I mean, Dante being one, like hanging out with him the other day and chatting, like he's totally somebody that's getting screwed by when these changes are happening in his career, because he's had like moments of great success, moments of like trying to figure it out and being elites, but doesn't have a factory team at the World Cups right now to like pull him through these changes where, you know, it's going to be tough next year. Like the field's tighter, like all those things. And yeah, there's a lot of people like him that are just in that weird limbo where, like, dude, if you had like a 2-year deal right now to where you were guaranteed a ride for this year, it's pretty huge. Like to help pull you through when it's really hard just to go to World Cups now.
Well, another thing that I think that is not really talked about that I don't really understand, and maybe it's that I don't understand a lot of these changes and such, like and the rules and the inner workings and how people have found like loopholes. But what happens when these teams think they're in the top 12 or 16 or whatever the number is, and then they ain't? Like, what happens? You have riders signed to go race, teams ready to go race, and then the team just like what happens then? Team just goes bankrupt, and these riders at the last, because there's a couple of teams I think that are just waiting to see how in 1 week how the points fall, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a situation that kind of ends up being where
I don't understand. Please,
they know that I think it'll end up being where if your team has budget and you have a good presence at the World Cups, you're going to be in that wild card.
Yeah.
Are these teams are just relying on the fact that they get a wild card and hoping, or what?
I think there might be a few like that. I think the reality too is that it costs money to be at these races. If a team wants to do it, it's not like Warner Bros. Or UCI is going to say no. Exactly. Like they'll
make room.
Yeah, I think that's all. And I need to go through and make a list of like how many teams are there now. And maybe that list is out there. I don't think it's not, because then we would already know all the team members remaining. But like that'll answer a lot of questions. That's the most frustrating thing is you can read everything and interpret, but there's so much that's left for interpretation. Like jumping ahead, but like, dude, the whole Continental Series thing, so many question marks for like, if you get top 5 at a Continental race, you can go race a World Cup. Okay, say you're down in New Zealand right now, you get 5 at one or 5th place at one of those races. You're like, cool, I'm showing up at round 1 in Poland. What happens when you get 10th? Do you get to do the next round, or are you just like, all right, that was a fun one World Cup I get to do for the year, I'm out, like, and then it's also top 5 in the overall for the Continental Series per continent gets to race all the World Cups in 26. Okay, what is the point schedule or like breakdown? Like what, like are some weighted more? Like you look back to when we did GRTs, there was different UCI ranked races. Some would pay like freaking 5 points, I swear, 10 points, and then some were like 90. And I don't know, it's just there's so much. I hate how I'm reading our forums to try to understand it. You know, like there's so much, not really hearsay, because it's like there's info, but it's not clear, and it's also not laid out in a way to like make it just super cut and dry. So I don't know. There's probably more info out there now. I don't scroll our forums all the time. It's kind of like we're going to have as many racers as we're going to have. And I mean, going through this list we've gone through, there's totally names remaining that don't have a home yet, but a lot of people have kind of landed in different areas. So yeah, it's definitely that people last year that were making it into finals sometimes, but not all the time, that are getting the most screwed by all of this.
Yeah, it's kind of it's just strange. And then they also like, it still favors Europe for the Continental Series. Like,
not really.
Well,
They have the least amount of races.
But they put Americas, South America and North America as one continent. It's like, dude, those are two separate continents. They've been like that since Pangea separated. Like,
allegedly,
Pangea was never together. Come on, like.
I mean, it definitely favors if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. If you're in, like, we'll just scroll down to it. If you are trying to race
best,
yeah, you're trying to race World Cups next year, in 26 next year.
You better be in Australia or New Zealand
right now, because all of them are happening right now. I think I forget the number.
January 19th.
They've got like 6 downhill races. Europe has 2, and then like the Americas have got, I think there's like 3 in North America and maybe 3 or 4 in South. But like the travel on that is really intense. You're bouncing all around, like between U.S., Canada, and then like. Chile and Peru and another country.
Dude,
like
there's one US round, or there's one US round and one Canadian round.
It's basically Ride Rock Creek.
There's 2 in North America.
Yeah, like there's the first round of the Monster Pro Downhill is one of them. Then you have a Summer Series Crankworks at Silver Star is another one. And then I don't know what the overlap is on the South America ones, but like I guess if like that was my whole thing is I'm like, okay, if it's 10 years ago when we're trying to get into World Cups, like what were your options then? What are your options now? It's definitely not any easier now than it was then. Like we always complain how hard it was to make it into a World Cup by getting UCI points. And like your best bet was always to petition and just try to do well at one. Where now I'm like, dude, does it make any sense to actually like, I would almost be like, fuck it, I'm going to go live in like New Zealand for the winter and get a job down there. Try not to fall too far behind with like money. Race a few of these. Ideally, try to like rack up some points to where I'm in like top 5 in the overall, and I can just race in 26 or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Bit of a rant. We definitely covered the Continental Series right there, but I don't know. Hopefully it works out. Yeah. Dakota doesn't look convinced.
I'm like looking at that schedule and I'm like, oh man, like if I were me, say
you.
Yeah, but I'm not me racing a World Cup.
You're like 2017 you. What are you doing?
Morpheus you.
Bro, good joke. There's no way. Like I'm racing Zirconia and maybe getting to the Silver Series. I ain't flying to South America. Like I'm not flying to Europe. I'm damn sure not flying to New Zealand. Like there's no way. Like it's pretty wild. So you're going to Rock Creek and humming one.
Right. So what I think is your best bet is racing your Continental Series, or us would be the Monster Series in the US, doing really well at the Monster Series, and a World Cup team picks you up, so then you race for that World Cup team the next year.
Yep.
But that ain't happening if you're 24 years old. Or 25. Like a World Cup team ain't picking up a 25-year-old doing well at their Continental or their National Series.
No way.
At least right now. I think the hope would be that like Monster Pro Downhill Series continues to carry more and more weight, right? Like because I still pretty strongly believe that like if you're freaking fast, you're going to rise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't just that doesn't just like not happen. You know what I mean? Like if you're really fast, you should win every single thing in the US. You
tell me if Frida goes and wins every one of those Monster Energy races next year, one of these World Cup teams are going to pick her up as an American or as somebody who lives in North America and bring her over there at 28 years old to race World Cup?
No.
I think that if
she win every one,
if she took advantage of racing if she did all of the Monster Cup races, that would include winning the US Open. So there would obviously be some class competition. And then she raced Mont Saint Anne and the Lake Placid World Cup, which assume she does well there, 100%. I think that something happens. But we're just looking at it from like, how do you get into World Cups and not travel and spend a shitload of money? Like you hopefully it would work out that way. No guarantees, of course. I mean, but we're still looking at it through the lens of you got to go to a World Cup to prove yourself. And I think that in the next 2 years, maybe we'll see that shift. Like, I think you might end up with even more people that want to come do Monster Pro Downhill Series. Like, why not? It makes a lot of sense from like a money standpoint, dude. Like,
it just depends the big thing, if it depends on, is if all these young kids make it or flop.
Yeah.
Like if the kids keep running up the list, for sure, they'll hire more kids. If not, maybe they'll go back to hiring people that have proven their weight at the races. I'm not saying like this has no relation to Frida, but I'm just saying like if the Asas and Alethas crush it, they'll keep hiring kids. It just depends on what they do.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion.
I mean, dude, yeah, we've definitely talked about it before, but 100%, like if you keep feeding that machine, that's going to be the thing, right? And like, but I think it's a really fascinating one because you go race a World Cup, right? Like even you yourself, you ride for a team that follows the UCI World Cup downhill series. However, it is not very lucrative for you as a racer to be doing these races. Like as building a profession, you make shit money, but that's where you go to find a team that pays you money and they want you to race that. If I'm looking at it, Mondraker just comes into the US, I'm like, bro, freaking blow up this Monster Downhill series, have a presence there, and like save a couple $100,000 on running a team in Europe and just run it here. You know, like I don't know when that crossover, if ever, will happen, but like you need riders, you need competition. You know, like if you keep going, if you keep showing up at Poland for the first round and not doing Monster Downhill, like we want to see how you're going to do, and we want to see you race Loic. Like wherever that happens, people are going to tune in. They want to know like who's fast, right? But it's just crazy that like the money, not that money is everything. It clearly isn't. Like competition is everything, but they don't cross very nicely right now.
No, and I would love to see more races in America and see this Continental Series really grow, but literally it just depends on if we show up or not.
It is year one too. So
no, for sure. But like,
I'm putting that asterisk out there too for myself.
If you start seeing dudes from the UK come over to race the series, I mean, it's going to blow up, and maybe we could see like a time when we can race in America again. There's plenty of venues, there's plenty of tracks, but at the end of the day, when you look at the riders list and it's not elite, like why would these dudes show up to race the top guys, right? And if you and then also the timing of the races, like I would love to see the days where it's Norba and you can make money to race in America and make a really good living. And there are still some people doing it right now, making a great living racing in America, and like honestly a better living than racing overseas. It can be done. It has been done. It's getting done currently. So it just depends on how you're going to do it, I mean, but at the end of the day, it depends on competition. People want to see competition. And if you go to a Portugal national round, there's going to be top dudes there, but nobody watches it. We look at the thing on the weekend. It's like, oh, yep. Okay, cool. Antoine Vidal won, beat like Bernie. Oh, crazy. Wasn't a World Cup.
Yeah.
It just depends on if they can continue to create this series into being what it is right now. Like I couldn't even explain this to my team manager until he showed up to the US Open. I'm like, yo, people are watching. These races are serious. The pit presence is serious. Like exactly what Clay is doing 100% the right thing to grow the series, because I don't want to get beat by Austin Dooley at a Monster Cup. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to race at the same pace I race at a World Cup, because there's a lot of eyes and there's a lot of pressure. And honestly, just the American people, the American culture makes us go faster at those races, because one, ego, one, pride, but also the community, it means a lot, So it's like, it's hard for me to even convince my team manager. I'm like, hey man, these races are serious. We need support for them, or I don't want to show up to them, it's not like just a local race that you can race out of, the back of your van, it's like you need help because these dudes are supported and they're going fast, and it's tough to do well at these races. The tracks are short, the gaps are easy. So like exactly what this American Series is getting built right now is what we need. It's just heavily reliant on competition. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I will say we've got quite a bit of plans to cover the Monster Downhill this year, like almost at a similar capacity, if not more, to World Cups.
Which is cool.
We're trying to do our part. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Tanner's
like,
Tanner's headed to the hardware store to get a fresh can of paint for that Scott Gambler.
He's still in the garage. Got her hanging.
I want to see the day T-step lines are back up.
Come on, that class. Let's get in there.
Come on,
you're gonna be
dude. How sick would a vet class be? We could get Cole Pachetino.
Oh my God, Cole would probably crush us.
Tanner Stevens, Jason Schroeder. I think Shane Leslie's. He's actually racing pro next year. I'm not gonna say Shane Leslie.
Yeah,
he was enduroing for a minute there, but I think he's actually he told me that he's racing next year. But if we had, I think we could get some fast guys.
Dylan Conti.
Dylan Conti.
Dylan's still in the mix. He
He's in
did
the pro
World
mix.
Cups this year.
That dude has really found the love for the sport.
Yeah.
But there's some guys. I think Kevin Aiello could come out and race for that class.
Okay,
we need to plan that for 2027 to get Kevin lined up to actually be somewhere at a certain time.
It would be, honestly, if there was, but I feel like that's why these dudes don't come races, because they know they're not competitive in pro anymore. But there's no beer drinking 2 beers the night before the race class. You know, there needs to be. You
might be onto something.
We need a semi-retired class. It should just be semi-retired downhill.
I ain't risking my life for a semi-retired downhill.
We just don't risk our lives. Though. That's the
You'll
rule.
risk your life for a weekend with the boys.
That's true. That's a good point.
All
right, we're getting close to 2 hours, so let's wrap this thing up.
Few people in there. Atherton's. Which, since they don't have Andy Kolb, it's just Charlie Hatton and Rachel.
Who else did they have? They had a junior last year.
Dom Platt.
I'm assuming is going to be elite.
But like
this year.
they're not going to have points to be in that. Without Andy Kolb, they're not in the top 15.
I've heard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think there could be some things of maybe a few teams under overarching sponsor pits sort of vibe.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Continental pit.
It's a pretty good option. But no, it's a good point. I hear such mixed things about Atherton. I love so much about that brand, but it does seem tough for them to make it right now.
The other people were Aaron freaking Gwynn.
He's commentating and kind of racing.
Are the boots hung up?
The boots, let me tell you, the boots are not hung up. That boy was riding in the snow the other day. I'll tell you what.
He can have an interesting program, I imagine.
Because I'm assuming he has points.
He's like I think because he's won a championship, he can just register.
I think there might be, I think if you've won a race even, maybe, I don't know.
He's got a career number.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's like first pick for a career number. He could be
his most wins right now. AG1.
Nah, you can't have number 1, but that would be
you can't. World Cup overall winner.
I think number 1 is saved for current.
Yeah,
Loic. I think it's Loic and then rules. Or whoever's leading. There's something like that.
Can you imagine if he just swung number 1?
So that was the question.
would be good too, like Villapoto. I could see him going the Villapoto route.
Yeah, bad. That was the question I had below. Dak, what number would you pick, or what number are you gonna pick when you win a World Cup?
So if you win a World Cup, you get a. Do I get a career number or no?
I think that's the rule.
I think it's the rule is you get a career number if you won.
Well, I guess I ain't getting no career number then.
Not right now, but what number would you?
I don't know. if there was a single, but that's such a weird rule because say if your career number is number 15, how do we know number 14 is? There's only 20 some dudes that have won a World Cup, right? So I guess the first 20 numbers.
I could have sworn it's any number like 0 to high up. Like
you
like
This
triple
whole
digit.
thing is wonky, in my personal opinion. I guess do you get a different colored number plate if you have a career number or something?
That's too many questions right now.
Like, because I was number 8
Just pick a number.
Yeah, just pick a number.
If I could get a single digit, I'd swing one. But if not, I'm tossing 56 on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why 56? Is that your number?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. That was a long-winded one.
Yeah, but like, this is what I'm trying to understand. Do I get a career number or not? I want to know.
No.
I don't think you do.
You haven't won a World Cup.
How is that I was top 10 in the World Cup overall last year and I don't get a career number? This is bogus.
You should email somebody about this.
Yeah.
Email Chris Ball, see what happens.
Yeah. Straight to the trash. Where I go.
People in the top 50 that are not confirmed rides. Kai Ahern, Thibaut Deprella, Matt Walker, Henry Kerr, Antoine Puron, Henry Kiefer, David Palazzari, Stefano Intrazi. I think those were all, and Aaron, but those were all in the top 50 that didn't have confirmed rides.
Dude, those are all the tough names to find a spot for. Like, unless you had a 2-year deal,
yeah,
it's looking a little weird, you know?
And some of those are in top 20, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, why do I feel like, did Kai post that he's not on the
that team's no
NS
more.
team? Is it no
United
more?
Ride is no more. Yeah.
Okay. I just thought they weren't riding NS bikes, the UR team. But I don't know. Like the Matt Walker, who else on this list feels like they'll definitely end up somewhere. Tebow's going to have his own thing, I think, still for next year. But a lot of those other names are freaking tough, dude. Like, unless there's some like Euro team we don't know about that's just gonna kind of like collect people and put the money together to have a World Cup team. Like,
yeah, what if somebody just swings it in here at last minute with the points and just runs it into top 10?
they have the max 10 riders or whatever it is.
Yeah,
maybe
it could be done because like
everybody puts a little bit of money together
because it goes off national or your UCI overall ranking. So like right now, Frida has the same points as like a top 20 male.
From national.
It doesn't go off World Cup overall points. It goes off UCI overall ranking. So there's going to be dudes like the boys from down there in the IJ racing, dude. Those kids have a crazy amount of points from racing in South America.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some business, some operating.
Some business.
I'm sure they've done it, but
the United Ride team is still there. Sam Reynolds is no longer on, but I don't think they're racing World Cups from what I heard.
I guess we'll have to find out.
So
yeah, what about like Win and GT and his whole privateer program thing? There's another big question mark.
What about Hans Ray?
That's actually a great question because he is always there. And fucking good on him. But like, where does he go?
Hans Ray has been on GT for like 30 years.
What about Brage? Is he going to YT? That feels like a YT thing.
I don't know, dude.
He aligns with them too perfectly. So
do they make an aluminum downhill bike?
I think they still make it. I'm assuming they have.
Does
they
he
have
even
it.
ride a downhill bike?
I say he doesn't really. Yeah, he rode their Fury quite a bit.
Did you see him with the flak jacket on, ripping the hills of Chile?
Pretty sick.
From the
He's
mountains
crazy.
to the sea.
We want to talk about people who actually make a lot of money in mountain biking. I feel like that dude's cleaning up.
Yeah.
YT feels like a good fit. I don't know if that's true or not.
He's on. Yeah.
I feel like Aletha Osgard, that was a name that I heard attached to a team that I forgot about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say because I don't really remember. Allegedly.
Oh.
Okay.
I think I remember the name.
It's one of the it's the main team.
Yeah.
She's got a factory team going for her first year as a junior, which is pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I mean, it shows if you do well at these North American races.
There's your example.
But you also have to be young.
You have to be young.
And that was sad story, but Cash Shalene.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed for him.
he had a ride from what I heard. On a team that was going to be a pretty sick team. So,
yeah, that one was definitely a massive bummer. We'll go look up it's Road to Recovery. It still has donations going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the bottom of this. Yeah, sending him all the positive vibes, healing vibes.
He's supposed to be getting out of one of the hospitals.
I thought I saw that he changed facilities at least once.
Yeah, he did, and I think he's
going again.
Yeah. There was something positive that was posted. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Tough shit. Talk about, I mean, kind of like where we started with this one. You never know. Fucking can't control everything.
Yeah.
I think we've covered just about everything. I mean, we had the World Cup schedules out. Go look it up. It's for realsies. There's 10 of them. I feel like we talked about this at Montsanan, but maybe it wasn't out yet. We talked about it at some point because there's like a big gap, but you're going to stay in Europe. Yeah, we did talk about it because you were trying to figure out like if you can stay there with visas and all that crap. Let's just close that door on that one.
I like this one. Dream sponsor.
Oh yeah, I had fun ones at the bottom. Yeah, well, okay, Dak. In one sentence, why don't you wear gloves?
I can't talk on this manner. I cannot speak about this.
Sell me on not racing with gloves.
I love gloves.
What
I love having them on my hands.
No, you don't. I was watching the GoPro video and half the clips you don't have gloves on.
The funniest thing is when we're at Sea Otter and you're just standing on the side of the track knowing why I don't wear gloves. And I'm like, dude, where's your gloves at? Where's the gloves?
Yeah, but that was early season.
Yeah.
It looked more intentional later on in the year.
I just didn't like them. I just didn't like the gloves.
All right, everybody know.
Not
Dak gloves, Alpine Star gloves.
It has nothing to do with the brand. I just don't like gloves.
Just as much as Ryan Pinkerton loves his Shimano shoes.
Oh no. Dude, don't even start.
Also, as a random side note, the Alpine Star gear looks good, but I've never seen that shit in the wild. Ever.
I don't actually know if they
sell
Alpine Stars mountain bike in America.
It looks good.
It's sick.
It's growing on me.
It's really good. It's really nice stuff. I tell you what, those pants really hold up.
Like they hold you up or they hold up?
No, they hold up. You'd know a thing or two about blowing pants out.
Hey, what was once pants is now shorts.
Now shorts. The problem is we can't race in shorts anymore.
I gotta look into those rules again. Is that an official thing? Are shorts officially killed, or is it still by country or by governing body?
I'm clearing the air on this. Okay. At one point in time, I couldn't find a glove I liked, but then I found one I liked, and it's really good, and it's from the Moto line, and it works really well. But I had a bit of a time where the gloves were a sore subject because I just have, I have little arms. Well, guess what? My fingers is short and my hands is small. So the gloves are tough. There's been riders known to not like gloves. It's just what it is. Sam Blanket.
What grips were you running?
I was actually running, speaking of little hands, I was running actually the Ergon. I don't know the name of the glove, but it's the one Tani designed. It's real thin. Okay. The little one. Yeah, I really like it. I actually think I don't even think anyone runs it. Everybody's that runs Ergon they're like, oh, you don't like the GDH1 or whatever it is. I was like, I just like this one. But I mean, it's a good grip, but I just really enjoy this little grip because I ran push-ons on YT and then I ran push-ons on Intense. We just glued them essentially like moto grips, like push-ons. And this grip is really good. I can't tell it's not a push-on. It doesn't give me arm pump. And it's a lock-on, and it works great, and it's really awesome. So
it's a great Ergon grip.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up the model right now.
Buy BergTech first, but then also you can buy Ergon if you like Dakota. That's an interesting one. We're going to close this out with the dream sponsor, but the whole grip debate, because like fat grips are super in, and people are like,
why?
well, I've always gone back to the you swing a baseball bat on the handle side, not the fat side that you like. It's so hard to get your hands around.
Dude, I feel like when I ride them, I'm
smaller-
gonna pull up and hands are gonna fly right off the grip.
Yeah, like I want my fingers to be wrapped all the way around my grip because then I have the most grip
I
strength.
don't need
on
them
it.
to be like tiny.
No, just right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of just right.
I'm running the GFR1 factory grip from Ergon. I really like it. It's really good.
Is this how you get your payment from Ergon? Just like you were talking about at the very beginning, like whenever Adidas sees you in a video, this is your plug in our podcast for your sponsor pay.
Well, I just felt bad. I didn't know what glove. I feel like I should know what glove and grip I'm running. Like I should know that. Like that's terrible that I don't.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean,
Next
just
podcast, you'll know.
You
it.
know, at some point in time, you just have to be better, and I needed to be better. So just wanted to get the air. But no, it's great.
All right.
I'm also running the Recon glove. So if you want the ultimate Dak Norton combo, you got your handlebars set up. Go over to ergon.com, get you a set of them grips, slide them on. Alpine Stars gloves.
Did Tomal get you re-upped on 100% or?
I'm in it. I'm luckily in
You're
a
in 2 year.
I'm in a 2-year. Yep.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's in a 2-year. I'm really happy with the 100% goggle. Pretty stoked on it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this one out there. I was shaking in my boots to make all the calls for like the year of like, hey, dude, I'm sorry, I'm really messed up, and everybody was really cool. Now I know that maybe they don't really, nobody really wants to say. I mean, they said they were sad for me, and I was like, yeah, same. But everybody was really nice. I'm gonna throw that out there. Everybody was really nice, and everybody said, "Let us know if you need anything." And I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but thank you. A hug, maybe. I could use hugs.
That's sweet.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Just want to throw that out there. Why
cool.
you guys are throwing
and
shade
then
here.
dream sponsor, last one.
Oh, dude.
I've been thinking about it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go because you're thinking. An airline. I don't really know which one, but international, and yeah, free flights, first class, business class.
Dude, can you imagine how much more I could do if I could fly for free? Wow. That'd be sick.
I
I thought about it in the shower the last night when I made that note.
This is one I heard from on the bomb hole. I think it was UC Oxenden. Great San Diego dude. Photographer, ex-pro snowboarder. He said Airbnb.
That was another
And
one on my list.
I was like, dude.
But what's more expensive in a trip? Because it depends how long. But like first class flight to Europe is like $8,000.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
You just buy a van.
I can just live in Morzine for a month in an Airbnb, the nicest Airbnb.
You know, if you had an Airbnb,
I can fly,
you would just
fly
never
regular class.
You would just never pay rent.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
That's a tough one. It's between like those and then like Whole Foods for me.
Amazon, just blanket statement. The Whole Foods there.
No,
Put it under
I don't
the
need to
umbrella.
buy things from Amazon. I just want free food.
Whole Foods is part of Amazon.
Well, I know that, but I walk in there and buy produce. I'm not going to go on Amazon and buy like whatever stupid shit I also buy on Amazon, dog food.
But you can do that. You can go on Amazon and buy Whole Foods as well.
I know you can't, but I don't need all the other features of Amazon. Like I don't need to watch movies. I just want to be able to go to the grocery store and have it be free. I like shopping.
Right.
I think this is actually one I've put quite a bit of thought into in the last 5 minutes. I think it would be there's a variety of things. Like if you could get the Chipotle card, like the unlimited Chipotle card, that would be pretty sick, right? That would be unreal. That would be a really good one. Any of the fast food, like the unlimited cards, like you just go in there and you just show them your card. One, that would be baller. Two, I don't know who you'd be showing off to, but you're like, yeah, I got it like that. That'd be pretty sick.
Everybody get Chipotle.
My happiness would be significantly increased if I rode for a motorcycle manufacturer. Like, say you could get like 2 to 3 bikes a year, right? So like I had a 701 Husky. I could like ride around the street like a Husky Supermoto, and then moto bikes would be unreal. Just using Husky as an example. It could be Honda, Blue Crew, KTM.
You'll
Really,
take it or you can get. Whoever's listening.
RM Army.
It could have a Kickstarter on it.
Kicks on the right side, dude. I'll be able to start that thing. No, but I think also having like a lease would be cool. Like you guys have already got like having a vehicle lease. If you just drove a vehicle, gave it back at the end of the year, rode for a dealer
with a gas card,
and a set of wheels on it, a Toyota Escondido would be.
There has got to be a Toyota of Knoxville that exists that would be down to hook it up.
Yeah.
Does Aaron not have something?
Those Toyota of Escondido deals used to come with a gas card.
That's so sick.
And that's why they would drive them all the time.
No, but old mate Aaron Gwynn's got that Kubota USA. That's pretty unreal. That's cool, dude.
That's a dream sponsor.
Yeah. I mean, imagine how much less time I would spend weed whacking. I mean, I already got one Kubota under the shed, but if I had like a 35, 30, I think there's this called the 37 KX37 maybe, or KX80. Dude, can you imagine the shit I could build? Go away.
We always end up at tractors eventually, or whatever they're called. I don't even know.
Dude,
I live in the city. That's not my forte.
Go ahead and drop the dozer off for the weekend. We're making some new jumps. It'd be sick. I'm a simple man, really.
About you driving a dump truck in that video, the GoPro one.
Yeah.
You drove a dump truck? I missed that somehow.
No, that was
it
future
quick?
career.
Could be a career.
Oh,
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, if you weren't racing.
Dump trucking could be
straight
good.
to dump truck. You could have said trash man too. Fucking similar.
No, I'm not really in it, and not into the trash man. Honestly, the dumpsters, on the other hand, that you could do good with, I reckon. The dumpster rentals.
Yeah.
I think, having a rollaway truck really would be handy. I could move my shipping containers all around my property, and I could, take you could get like 2 months worth of trash. You could buy your own dumpster if you had a rollaway truck, and you just take your trash like once every couple months. That'd be pretty sick.
Oh my God. It's a whole different world out there.
Imagine if I had a dump trailer, I could get jiggy.
Oh, a dump trailer, man.
You're never leaving.
You have to have a Class A license and stuff.
Do you? Maybe in California, but not here in good old Tennessee, brother. You've been living in California too long. Nah, dream sponsors, dude. Dream sponsors would be cool. I think for me,
Rockstar.
Where's
Party hard?
Dude, I got a line in on Dean Wilson. I'm about to send him an email. Hey, y'all got that contact?
I think it's time they re-enter
the
World Cup scene.
For you guys, we've had this like ongoing joke for a few years. Tanner's been my manager, and he's gonna hook me up with a rock star. He seems to think it's the funniest thing possible.
It's the most fit.
I don't know if those fit into your diet now, though, huh?
Nah, dude.
Sugar free,
dude.
You've never really been an energy drink guy, though. So.
Never. No.
Either.
He's always been on the coffees.
Yeah, I used to not drink coffee at one point in time, and then I got sucked in.
You had that Better Buzz card for a little bit, didn't you? But you didn't live in San Diego.
I had Better Buzz. I was buzzing. I was buzzed.
Okay.
I was getting buzzed for a minute there. That was really nice. I've had several. I'm currently coffee sponsorless at the moment.
No more traction.
No, my plug.
You know what you need to get.
You know what? From time to time, I will get a care package from Traction. They're really nice, and I've gotten Captain Stoked from the Captain Stoker. because one of my good childhood buddies runs Captain Stoker, but I don't have like any sort of official subscription or something. But I'm very blessed to have friends with really good coffee shops, so that's pretty rad.
Yeah. Onyx Coffee Labs would be a good one.
Dude,
Onyx Labs?
Onyx Coffee Labs.
I'm just kidding.
It would be sick.
We can't keep talking about coffee. I got to cut this off while we're ahead. Or we can keep talking, but I got.
All right, hey, I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to tell you what the number one sponsor. If I could have any sponsor, I want to wear a brand new pair of socks every day of my life for the rest of my life. Can you imagine how sick that would be? Fresh socks every day, starting every day on the right foot. That's it. Sock. Fruit of the Loom, call me. Like,
that's the
actual
answer.
mic drop.
That's the answer I was hoping for. That's perfect. That's the perfect way to end this. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks for
really know
listening to us
when.
ramble.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think we're right around 2 hours, so not bad. Do this again soon. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should. Hopefully you won't have to edit this one. There's only a couple of dog barks. So if we can keep it really depends on how much we can keep down.
Yeah. No, we'll it's still kind of a quiet time of the year, but we're getting close to some US racing starting. I don't know. Pick some fun topics for us.
Yeah.
Something
could be interesting to see who shows up to those Continental Series and down under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that'll be kind of telling because there's also Brooke McDonald down there, doesn't have a ride, and yeah,
dude, there's a lot of dudes without rides. This is going to be pretty wild.
There's a lot of people in New Zealand right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. As always, B Practice Podcast is back for 2025, and thank you, Maxis, Berg Tech, Industry 9, for being on board with what we do here. We'll see you sometime soon in the future. Peace.